No mai haere mai. It's the Huddy Hui. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui, episode 145. And, well, the winter weather is starting to approach us. King's birthday this weekend, and it is raining out there quite heavily tonight in the capital city. And we're going to be talking to a young individual tonight who has got himself a year ahead with Year 13 of rugby at Wellington College. He's been in the team for nearly 3 years now, and he recently reached out to me asking if I could help him in such way for his trip to Quad, and part of the deal is that you had to come on the Huddy Hui. So here he is tonight. Archie Sims is our guest on the Huddy Hui. Archie, many thanks for coming on the Hui tonight. Let's start off talking about last Wednesday against St Pat's Town, the traditional, which you won 18-15. How tough was it to play out at Evans Bay Park first up?
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Thank you very much for having me on. Pretty special to be on here, so yeah, thank you. Last Wednesday was pretty tough. It's always tough playing at town. You know, they've always got pretty good supporters, and it's always a pretty tough game to play there. But I know we seem to find a way and get the win, which was pretty good. I guess first game of the comp. So yeah.
How do you prepare for traditional day? What routines do you go through before such a big occasion? I don't
know. It kind of, I guess, starts during the week with training and just getting mentally prepared. Obviously, last Wednesday was a bit hard with playing our game against Hamilton Boys on the Saturday, so we didn't really have a full week's preparation, which made it a bit tougher. Kind of just had to reset a bit and get focused on the occasion and the game that was ahead. So yeah.
The oldest traditional in the capital city for First 15 rugby. What history is passed down to the team before traditional day?
Well, as I said, we didn't really get much preparation before this year's traditional, but last year we had a bit of a trip into our archives, our old headmaster's house at school before the game, and looked at a bit of history and things that meant to be playing in the game, which was pretty special.
As you mentioned, you had a trip up to Hamilton. We'll talk about that very soon. But Wellington College has had a massive pre-season. And one of those games you played against was against the highly fancied Hastings Boys High School at home, and you came away with what was a great win. Tell us how special that win was for the team.
That win was pretty special. Probably one of the most special, I guess, games that I've been a part of, given the magnitude of their school and how good their rugby program is. So that was very special to get a win and be able to compete with a team like that, I guess. So yeah.
And your performance in particular was of vital importance that day, particularly in the second half. Talk us through your game plan and your own performance against Hastings.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of just trying to plan before that game and talked a bit with Huddy, just trying to talk about where playing the right ends of the field, and I don't know, hopefully get the opportunity to score the points and play how we did. So, yeah.
Also in pre-season, you played Tauranga Boys High School in Napier, where Wellington College learnt a lot about themselves, in particular having to play how to play a full 70-minute game. What were the learnings from those two pre-season games where you were in certain parts where you were ahead and could have capitalised further?
Yeah, well, the the Napier boys game was definitely a tough learning for us. I feel like we should definitely have got over the line there and probably won that game. But I don't know, it is what it is. I guess they probably wanted a bit more than us on the day. But then Tauranga boys, that was a bit of a tough one for us as it was still a trial game. So we had lots of reserves and actually had quite a few injuries that day. But with our team on at the start, we felt we did pretty well, and we were leading at half time and most of the game until, I guess kind of with about 25, 30 minutes ago, we made quite a few subs. So I guess felt if we had our best team playing, we could definitely have competed and potentially won that game. But it was good learnings for us to show that we can definitely compete with a top side like them.
As you mentioned earlier, you had the Moeska Cup Challenge against Hamilton boys 2 Saturdays ago. Tell us about that challenge at Hamilton, because that's a tough place to go play.
Yeah, there's definitely it was a tough game for us. We had a big build up, and we're definitely very excited to get the opportunity to play in that game, which is a pretty special one. Don't get to play for the Moeska Cup. We'll see it around much, to be fair, in Wellington. So that was pretty special. But obviously playing Hamilton boys at their school is always going to be tough. Having to travel up the day before, billet, and then come up against a quality side like them. They're always going to bring a lot of fight, and definitely gave us quite a few lessons, and gave us lots to work on, which is pretty helpful for us as well.
I was told you left school about 8 o'clock that morning on the Friday to go up to Hamilton. You got there around 5:30. Tell us about that long bus ride.
Yeah, quite a few stops. Obviously, we had our first and seconds on the bus, so it wasn't the quietest of trips, but it was a bit of fun. But yeah.
Tell us about the first 15 of 2025. What players have returned from last year, and what players should our audience watch out for this year?
So team this year, I guess, is looking reasonably strong. We've got quite a few players returning, about, maybe 15 or 16. So of boys that at least played a few games last year or were fully in the team. So, but then players to look out for. Obviously, there's a few bigger names, likes of Charisma and Fitz, and then also a couple other boys. A new boy, Drew. He's pretty good as well. Blindside flanker, and then also a few other boys, the ones that don't get mentioned too much, help us out a lot. So likes of Seb, Jack Robinson, a few of those other boys also, give us a lot and help out the team heaps. So yeah.
And of course, you have what is probably known as the All Black coaching staff of the first 15, Huddy Hui, John Swalga and Namia Tialata. What have they brought to the rugby program at Dub C, and who looks after the backs, which is your department?
Yeah, they definitely help out a lot with our team, especially with Pity and John Namir. There's also Anthony Rehutai, who's also with Pity, the other coach of our team. They give a lot and give a lot of time and lots of experience, and also set very high standards of us, which is always good for a team trying to succeed. So yeah, and then
sorry, continue. Yep.
With Pity, he takes our backs, and he's very helpful. Almost puts it a bit more on us to help, I guess, learn and understand things and read pictures and help us, in that department. So yeah.
Of course, rugby has had a resurgence at Wellington College since the likes of Namir Tialata came in as Director of Rugby. What have been the keys to making rugby become great again at Wellington College?
Yeah, well, obviously with Namir coming in, he came in my year 9 year. But actually he was brought into the school by a guy called Steve Guinea, who was the captain of the first 15 in 1987, I believe. And he did a bunch of research and things of how to make a very successful rugby program to help develop at the school. He unfortunately passed away 2 weeks ago, which is a pretty sad moment for the school and the rugby club. But so he brought in Namir to help, build our rugby program and gave it a bit of a structure and things like that to help build it up. So yeah.
Another person that has been quite instrumental since coming in as headmaster is Glenn Denham. Tell us about him as headmaster of Wellington College. What has he brought to this college? Because he's always around at most events, including sport.
Yeah, Mr. Denham, he's very good, very passionate about his sport. He gives a lot to us and all the other sports teams as well. He was always there on the sidelines supporting. Even most teams, even our cricket team, spends lots of time on the sideline watching most of his Saturdays. But he's very good and helps out a lot with our sports.
This is your your third year in the first 15. Who was your debut against, and what was it like pulling on the first 15 jersey for the first time?
I believe my debut was against Gisborne back in 2023 in the transit competition. The first day I got to pull on the first 15 jersey. It was pretty special, after obviously watching my brother play and lots of years standing on the sidelines, even watching boys likes of Naitor and Tame Plumtree and that playing. It's pretty special to be able to pull on the same jersey as they wore. So yeah.
You mentioned your brother George. We interviewed him last year on the Huddy Hui. He's a former First 15 captain back in 2020. What have you learnt from him? And it's good to see him doing well up in Auckland, particularly with his club Pakuranga, which I believe is also playing a game tonight, you told me off here.
Yeah. So he's playing for Pakuranga, but he's also playing for the Auckland Contenders team tonight. So they're playing Northland, I believe. So yeah, at the moment. And the things I've learnt from him. I haven't learnt too much. I've always been the better brother. He's definitely taught me lots. I spent lots of time, throughout all my younger years at the park with him, kicking and passing, and definitely taught me what a work ethic looks like, and that's something I see from him and aspire to be like, his work ethic and how much he trains and things like that. So that's definitely been one thing that he's taught me. Yeah.
How many games have you played for the first 15 to date?
I believe 33 proper first 15 games so far, yeah.
And like most schools, the idea of the cap being capped at first 15 rugby is an important tradition for boys' schools. What does it take to earn a cap at Wellington College? And are there any other milestones that can be achieved?
With the cap, so basically you have to start 85% of games in a season, and then also start 60% of the traditionals. So yeah, that's pretty much what the capping system is like. It's pretty tough, especially if you get injured or something like that and can't play full season. But yeah, I guess it's the way it is. They're after consistency in a spot over a season. So yeah, I guess that's what earned your caps. And then with the milestones, I'm not actually too sure if there's anything more than a cap. So yeah.
Where did you earn your cap for the first 15?
It was end of year 11. And my cap then. So yeah.
Has fly half or first five always been your preferred position? Why is that?
Yep, it always has. Back in, I guess, junior rugby, playing, I guess, especially the lower grades from about, I don't know, under 8s, under 10s, we would always switch around and, 1 week we'll be playing on the wing, next be playing front row. And then, I guess, in the preferred position of first five some weeks. So I know that's kind of got to go everything. And then I guess from that decided that that's where I wanted to keep playing from there. So.
Every first five or kicker has a different kicking style. Do you model yourself off Owen Farrell?
Not too much. I thought you were going to ask that. Nah, I don't know how it's ended up like that, but I guess it's just practice and I don't know. I guess it's just the way it's ended up. To be fair, haven't really thought about it much, but it kind of just happens naturally. So yeah.
Is there any other first five in rugby that you draw inspiration from?
Well, obviously, as a young kid, you look at, I guess, the likes of Dan Carter and Bowden Barrett, especially in his younger years. And then bit more recently, Richie Mo'unga and the way they're able to play and control a game. So I guess looking at them as inspirations, I guess. So yeah.
What are the main traditional fixtures for Wellington College? Of course, we had St. Pat's Town recently, but what are the other main traditional fixtures?
Yeah, so I guess our 3 regular season games. So, as you said, Town, Rongotai, and then Silverstream. But then also our quadrangular tournament is a pretty special one. So, yeah.
And of course, quad this year is down south at Christ College. How have the preparations been for the trip down south? And who do you play first up?
So I guess haven't done too much preparation so far, apart from doing a bit of fundraising, as you mentioned before. And then, so first game, we actually have to play Christ, which will be a tough game at home. And then, so yeah, obviously Nelson will be playing Whanganui Collegiate.
2023 quad at home at Wellington College was outstanding. What was it like having the tournament at home? And talk us through that great setup for one of the top tries in the final that you set up.
So quad at home was pretty special. I guess you only really experience one quad at home unless you're lucky to get 2. So it's pretty cool to be able to play in it. And then I'm not quite sure which try talking about, I wasn't sure I was involved in too many of them. It was more Jacob just running away with the ball and
I think it might have been the
scoring.
one you. I think it might have been the one you kicked to them. I think that time maybe, and he ran and scored it. So but no, he scored. He scored quite a few that tournament, didn't he?
Yeah, sure did. Yeah.
That was also interesting. Is that the few days before quad started, the team had an unexpected loss against St Bernard. So how did it you bounce back against a result like that when you probably many people thought you'd be favoured to beat St Bernard's?
Yeah, that was a pretty disappointing game, especially, well, it was meant to be at our home, and meant to be at school, but we actually played at Haitatai Park. But yeah, we had quite a few injuries and stuff that game, but no, it was still a disappointing result. And yeah, probably if we had that back again, we'd try to hopefully turn that around by quite a bit. But yeah, and then to bounce back, I don't know. I thought I guess if you see the first half of our first game at Quad, you'll probably think that we hadn't bounced back, being 19 points down in the first half. But then I guess, Jacob and Jack, our two co-captains, sort of stepped up and led the way, and the rest of us followed on. And for the second half of that game to pull it back and end up winning. And then that final kind of just a bit of underdog mentality and having nothing to lose. And and the school behind us was definitely a big help. So yeah.
Of course, you have the Silverstream Traditional coming up in a few weeks' time in the middle of June. Tell us about beating Silverstream last year, and what do you expect from their challenge this year?
Yeah, so obviously the Silverstream Traditional is always a very tough one. Last year, we were lucky enough to just get over the line and win that game, which was pretty special. Hadn't been done in the last, I guess 2 years. So, but also even more special to beat them at home, I guess, was pretty special. And then this year, they'll always be a very good side, and so we've got a lot of preparation and work to do to be up for that game, and ready to take it on. Yeah.
Now, speaking of that traditional last year out at Silverstream, you achieved, which was one of the rare feats in rugby, which is known as a full house, which is a try, a conversion, penalty, and a drop goal. Did you know that you had achieved this during the closing moments of the game? And is this one of your best moments in your rugby career to date?
To be honest, I didn't really think about it, to be fair. I kind of just, was, I guess, trying to get as many points as I could for the team and doing what I could for them. No, I wasn't really, too worried or know much about that until after. I think it was David Walsh that told me that it happened. I was like, I looked back at it. I was like, geez, yeah, it did. So, that was pretty special to have that happen. So, yeah.
Now, every player has a best try for any side. What's your best try for Wellington College?
Well, I don't actually get to score. Haven't scored many, to be fair. But probably the one I scored to finish off a pretty long-range try last year in our first traditional against St Pat's Town was probably a pretty special one for me. So yeah.
Who has been the biggest influences in your rugby career?
I'd like to say obviously Pity helping me out a lot. Done lots of work with him over the last 3 years, I guess, and still lots more to do. But then also I'd like to say Murray Blandford. He's been, especially in my younger years, when I was fortunate enough to go to Wellesley and play rugby there, and he was my coach in year 7. So he was very good to me and taught me lots about I guess playing the game and things to look out for.
I believe Murray might be one of those watching tonight. He's a regular on our home games at Batoni, and he rated you pretty highly in your your days at Wellesley. Who has been the toughest opponent you have played against, and why?
Probably so far, probably that Nelson team from last year. When we played them first game in quad, they gave us a bit of a hiding, to be fair. But they were a pretty good team, and obviously showed by getting to the top 4 final and being unfortunate to not win that. But they're a pretty special team. So, yeah.
Is there one game you have played where you've learnt the most about yourself as a player?
Probably one of the games in year 11, probably. Potentially that stream traditional that we played at school. We went down that game, but probably learned a lot more about myself and more so like capabilities and more game awareness and how to drive the team around the field kind of thing. So yeah.
What goals do you still want to achieve while playing rugby at Wellington College?
Obviously like to potentially, try to take out the Wellington comp this year with school, and then we've got some pretty high goals this year, so hopefully go on further than that and try and make top 4. So get through Hurricanes, make top 4, and then do well there. So yeah.
And what representative rugby teams have you made, and are you hoping for high honours this year?
So I guess I played in a few of the younger teams, so under 16s, played in that, and then last year played in the Wellington Centurions. It was also part of the Wellington under 18s camp. So then, this year, hopefully looking to make the Hurricanes under 18s camp, and then potentially further on one of the, New Zealand schools or Barbarians or something like that. So, yeah.
There's another sport I hear you're pretty good at as well, and that is cricket. Tell us about your cricketing career.
I wouldn't say that good, especially at the moment. So I guess, at school, I guess done reasonably well to the point year 11 was able to go play for the first 11 term 4 and then go to Gillette, so the Nationals that year, which was pretty cool down in Christchurch and Lincoln University. And got to play in that comp down there, which was special. And then last year didn't go too well for us. We lost a few games in our Wellington comp that would have hoped to win, so didn't get the opportunity to qualify for Gillette. But then this year turned that around. So we got a pretty strong team this year with a few very good players. So lucky enough we'll be down in Lincoln the end of this year, playing in Gillette. So yeah, there'll be a lot of fun.
An early question that I forgot to ask you is, where did your junior rugby begin for you?
So I started off at West. And stayed there. Guess the whole 8 years, or 9, I guess. I was about 4, so played there throughout my whole junior rugby. So yeah, there was always a pretty cool club to play for. Lots of my mates played, and lots of fun.
Have you thought about next year, what your plans are? You're planning to stick around in the capital city, and if so, what are you planning to do?
To be honest, I'm pretty, confused right now on what I'm going to be doing. I guess there's the idea of going away or staying here in Wellington. So, yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. Still lots to think about and work out from there. So, yeah.
Now, unfortunately, you were due to play Scots this Saturday, but that game isn't happening. But you have another game to prepare for, and it's one of the other traditional matches against your brother school, Rongotai College, this coming Wednesday. How is the team preparing for this challenge? Now, Rongotai lost to WRFU quite heavily last week, but they'll step up for this game, won't they?
Yeah. Traditional is always a different story. You can't really take into account what the other games have been like throughout the season. So they always get up for it. And definitely they'll be a strong side in that game. So yeah, we're definitely doing lots of preparation at the moment. I guess we'd have no game this weekend, essentially 2-week break. So we've been doing lots of training and getting prepared for the game. So yeah.
Now, one of the other things we like to do on here, Archie, is preview the club and school games this weekend. And we'll see what your knowledge is of local club rugby. Here's the first game. It's Upper Hutt versus the Axemen. That's actually been played on Friday night at 7 o'clock at Maidstone Park. Who do you think's going to win this one?
Looking at other scores and things, I'd hope Upper Hutt would win their game, especially playing at home. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Upper Hutt will be too strong at home. They're coming off having 2 losses against 2 teams recently. They got a win over Norths last weekend. Next up is Avalon against Parramatta Plymoughton. Parramatta Plymoughton coming off a loss at home last week against the favourites Oriental Rongotai.
Yeah, I guess even though they lost last week, they probably still would still probably beat Avalon. But yeah.
Yeah, no, Parramatta I think will be too strong for Avalon in that game, so I'm going to go Parramatta Plymoughton. This one here is an absolute beauty. Tawa against Northern United is the battle of out in the east there at Pairua. This is out at Lyndhurst Park. No love lost between these two sides. Archie, who are you going in this one?
Yeah, I'd like to say Tawa. Yeah.
I think, I'm probably going to go Tower as well. They had a good win at home last week and responding to being beaten by Huddy Boys 2 weeks ago. And Norths are just finding it a bit tough at the moment, but they'll step up for this one. But I think Tower at home will win. Now, the next game here is Oriental Rongotai travelling out to the Hutt Rec to play the Eagles. Oriental Rongotai are undefeated, and pretty much I think if they win this weekend, they've got the Swindale Shield locked up, but Huddy Boys will be tough at home.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a trip out to Huddy Boys. Might go something a bit controversial, have Huddy Boys to win this. Yes, back my old coach Otto to hopefully get the job done.
Now, of course, Ories don't like travelling out to the Hutt Rec. I'm talking to Mason, who's there, a good member out there at Oriental Rongotai. They don't like playing out there, but I reckon they might break the duck this time. I think Ories might win that one. Now, a club that I've seen you following around the traps this season is Old Boys University. They've only had the one win so far this year. They nearly had their second against Petone. Unfortunately, a late penalty sent them to another loss. I think it's about their fifth or sixth game they've lost by a point or two. They're at home this weekend against Wainuiamata, another tough assignment, but the Billy Goats possibility have a chance of making the top 8 still because they have quite a high amount of bonus points. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, got a few mates from school and that in the OBU team, so I'd like to back them to hopefully win at home, get the job done, I guess.
Yes, I think Old Boys University should probably get the win there. I think Finno Sutherland might be back. He was supposed to play last week, but wasn't allowed, so hopefully he'll be back. So Old Boys University to take this one. 2 more games to go in the round 9 of the Swindale Shield. Mara St. Pat's against the Hawks, Johnsonville. This is always a good battle, this one, but the Hawks are on fire at the moment.
Yeah, don't have too much knowledge on these guys, but I guess I'd bet mate Jacob Kennedy playing for the Javel, so hopefully they get the win.
Yeah, I think Johnsonville too as well. They've got a pretty good run home as well, Johnsonville. They well and truly probably will be in the top 4 in some capacity. And the game that we're doing this Saturday is Petone against Pōnehi, 2 of the oldest clubs in the Wellington region. It's Petone are celebrating their 140th this weekend. They're having celebrations on Friday and throughout the King's birthday weekend. These 2 also played the 125th, all those that way go back. So both teams going pretty well. Just the 2 losses, sitting around second and third on the table. How do you see this one go?
I guess like to see Petone win that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good battle. Pōnehi definitely putting up a big fight this year, but I think Petone at home will be a pretty special weekend for them. I think they'll get the win, but it will be very close. First 15 rugby. Of course, unfortunately, you're not playing this weekend, Archie, so you get a bit extra time to prepare for Wednesday. But there are a few other games on as well. Wellington College have St. Pat's Town over the hill. That's always a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, we've definitely experienced that playing over there. But Town are pretty strong, so I'd hope they get over the line there and win that game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go St. Pat's Town on that one as well. Always tough to go over the hill, and another Catholic boys' school has to go over the hill this weekend. Silverstream have to go over to WRFU College. WRFU new to the competition this year after spending a number of years in the Central North Island competition, but they've joined the Wellington Premiership, and they had a big win over Rongotai last weekend. St. Pat's Town coming off a close traditional win today against New Plymouth Boys at the Gully, played in pretty wet conditions. I think this game could be pretty close, Archie. How do you think this one's going to go?
Yeah, I definitely think. Obviously, Stream are a good side, but WRFU obviously are showing that they're also pretty good. So, no, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty close, but I think I'd have Stream to get up with that one. But
yeah, it'll be super close indeed. I think Silverstream should sneak home, but only just. I think WRFU will put up an almighty fight. Next up is a team that you're playing next Wednesday on traditional day. Rongotai at home against Hibs. Rongotai coming off, as mentioned, a big loss to WRFU, and Hibs a win over St. Bernard's. Probably say Hibs should take this one out, but it's at Rongotai. Tough place to play.
Yeah, not too sure with this one. I guess it's a pretty tough game for Hibs to play at Rongotai. So I don't know, might back Rongotai for this one.
Yep, and I'm going to go the other way. I think I'm going to go Hutt International Hibs in this one. And then the last game to close out the first 15 round is going to probably be an almighty battle out at St. Bernard's. St. Bernard's versus Tawa. Both 2 teams that like to put up a good fight, and Tawa nearly beat Scots last weekend. St Bernard's, as mentioned earlier, going down to Hibs. How do you see this one going?
I guess another one, not too confident on, I guess. But I know Tawa have a few pretty good players, so I might go Tawa for this one.
Yeah, and I think Tawa probably, just what I heard on their display against Scots last week, I think they might just sneak home as well and get that one over St Bernard's. Well, Archie, it's been great having you on the Huddy Hui and also supporting you in your rugby this year, also helping you with your fundraising for Quad. It's been great having you on the Huddy Hui. All the best for the rest of the season, and it's great to follow the Wellington College games and live stream them, and no doubt we'll watch you grow and flourish as the rest of the season develops.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brad. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be on here and talking to you about this year and our team and that. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Archie. That is Archie Sims, talented first five of Wellington College's first 15, and a great interview with him as well, getting to understand what it's like playing at first 15 rugby at Wellington College. Now, of course, we've got a few things to announce on the Huddy Hui tonight. We also, as you saw last week, we live streamed St Pat's Town against Wellington College, as well as doing Wellington College's home games this season. We're also going to be doing the home games of the Premiership for St Pat's Town this year as well. So that is fantastic news to be able to bring you Wellington College and St Pat's Town's home games. That is good. They'll be live and free on Huddy Sports YouTube. And also, we'll be bringing you the Wellington Club Finals this year on Huddy Sports YouTube. We're going to be bringing you the Women's Finals from Rugby League Park in the later part of June. And then also the Jubilee and Hardham Cup Finals in late July. So those will all be live and free on Huddy Sports YouTube and also on our website, huddysports.co.nz, in partnership with Wellington Rugby. And of course, we've got one other announcement tonight. We've got a new sponsor on board, and I thought it would be fitting that we would show you their promo video to advertise their business. If you know the name Nathan Williams, well, he's former coach of Upper Hutt and also the Wellington Sevens team. He's involved with fielding, and this is the business that he's associated with. So sit back and listen and watch. So we've got EG eggs, free-range eggs, and of course we've got some eggs here as well. Brought those during the week. They're top quality eggs, EG eggs, free-range eggs. This is the mixed grade version here, and they are one of our new sponsors on Huddy Sports this year. So it's great to have EG eggs on board as the sponsorship, and their ads will play also on our live streams, particularly starting this Saturday with our game against Petone and Porniki. Now, as I mentioned with Archie, this is the 140th for Petone this year, and this King's birthday weekend. They're having a great weekend, and it kicks off on Friday night at the club, where they're going to be auctioning off the old-timers jerseys, the Hardham jerseys of William Harding, the VC, and they had the special ceremony a few weeks ago for their old-timers day, where the Hardham Cup was represented and redesigned, and it's now called the Hardham Cup VC Memorial VC Cup. So that's going to be great to see that great trophy modernised and out there with the finals this year in Wellington Rugby. And also they're going to be auctioning off a whole lot of jerseys as well, and there's a fundraiser as well. You can also auction for one of those on TradeBee, so you can find Petone Rugby on TradeBee and you can find those. And of course, then on Saturday we're going to be wearing their blue. They've got their good friends and rivals, Porniki, out there at the Petone Rec on Saturday. That game's going to kick off at 2:45 p.m. and our coverage on Huddy Sports starts at 2:30 p.m. So it's going to be a great week of celebrations for Petone Rugby. And so if you're a Petone person, get along and support the club. They had a great old timers day. When you walked into the club rooms, you couldn't even move. So make sure you get out there as well. But we're also, tomorrow night, we've got a bit of a hockey game to also live stream as well. Tomorrow night, 6:20 p.m. Whitby Collegiate. But of course, my main employer, they asked us to live stream their hockey games this year, and they're playing Wellington High School. So you'll find that on Huddy Sports YouTube tomorrow night around 6:20 p.m. So many thanks for tuning in to the Hui tonight. Many thanks to our new sponsors, Free Range Eggs, EG. I'm looking forward to having some of those later on. And many thanks also to our main sponsors as well that have been with us for a long time. You see them there at the bottom corner of the screen. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Lane Limited. He's been our first sponsor right from the get-go in 2020. And if you need any plumbing or drain laying advice, he's your man to call. Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers. Excellent. She's been with us for 3 years now. And Jean Hickton, Funeral Directors, Gavin Murphy and the team, they have been great supporters for the last 2 years. And they're good people there at Jean Hickton Funeral Directors. So make sure you give them a plug. Just pressed the wrong button then. So that's the Huddy Hui for tonight. Our next episode of the Huddy Hui will be next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And I've also should mention as well is that it's the game Petone and Pornicky this weekend is Matt Thomas's, the Premier referee in Wellington's 50th game and Blazer game for the Referees Association. So congratulations to Matt. I know they're going to be doing a bit of celebration for him on Saturday night out at Joe's Garage to present his Blazer to him. And he's been, his refereeing career, Matt Thomas's, has been full of many highlights. 40-metre penalty try between St. Pat's Town and Silverstream. And also, probably one of his finest memories as a referee was being the referee in charge of the McBain Miracle back in 2021. That was where Sam Blackburn scored that impressive try pretty much in the 84th minute to win the McBain Shield for Petone. So, Matt Thomas, congratulations on your 50th game of refereeing in the capital. Another amphibian that made the transition back to land to become a rugby referee. Well, that has been the Huddy Hui for tonight. Many thanks to our guest, Archie Sims, for coming on the Hui tonight. And I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Here on Huddy Sports, we like to thank our sponsors that have always been grateful to our causes here on Huddy Sports. Our first sponsor, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. If you need any drain laying or plumbing assistance, give Mike Pinfold a call on 027 430 4351 or Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz. Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers. If you need any travel advice, she's local here in the Hutt Valley in Petone. Call 021 135 3076. Louise Reddy, Louise.Reddy at nztravelbrokers.co.nz. And also to Gavin Murphy and the team at Jean Hickton Funeral Directors. They've been serving Wellington families with their funeral directoring services since 1946. So go to jeanhickton.co.nz. They're all local people here in the Hutt Valley and Wellington that service our greater community. We also like to thank Ben Belushnik Visual Designs that helps with the graphics here on Huddy Sports. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com.